If I see an officer, I automatically assume that there is a high possibility of him being corrupt in a way of racism and violent. Some would describe a monster.
I've never had insults like that while wearing the uniform from the greater community, the dirty looks. That was hard to take.
There are members of the community who want to make change, who want justice, who want respect, who want to end this racism, sexism, meanness, and meaninglessness.
The Martin Luther King Jr. Freedom Center is proud to present All of Us Around the Table Together, a community and police relations program. Over time, police have used force to protect life and property. However, that same force has been used in attempts to limit civil rights and equality.
To contain the misery and violence of the ghetto, Oakland's all-white police department earned a reputation for head-knocking brutality that has left a well-remembered legacy of bitterness in the minds and hearts of many who lived in that time and place.
I was growing up in the late 30s and early 40s. At that time, the police department was perceived as brutal, and for the most part, there was extreme fear on the part of black people in West Oakland at that time when the police would ever come into the community.
When I told my mother that we were having the Park Police over for dinner, her first reaction was, why? Why would you have dinner with the enemy?
What's most difficult about the dinners is to convince the people who are hosting the dinners that the police is not our enemy.
They think that I'm the type of person that I would, like bring a policeman into my house.
They see the uniform, they see my dog. I'm out on patrol, I'm in this car, I'm on my radio. If I'm not willing to conversate with them or put myself out there, they never actually get to see me as a person.
The purpose of All of Us Around the Table Together is to really create a sense of community between the police and the community.
Each of the dinners is held in a family's home in the same community in which a police officer works.
I'm really not sure what to expect. Hopefully it'll make me a better police officer if I'm more understanding of the community I serve in, the people that are out there. A big part of community policing and being a good police officer in general, I think, is compassion and putting yourself in someone else's shoes.
During the dinner, we play a game that asks a series of questions that allows us to see our similarities as well as our differences.
What do you do when, what is your response when a family member annoys you? What do you do?
Yes. You really want to know?
Through the dinners, the families are transformed. They are able to see that they are in charge of the relationship that they have with the police.
And if police officers are able to understand why people do what they do, maybe they can have a little bit more compassion. Maybe they can understand where members of the community are coming from.
I didn't know what to expect. I thought that it was the officers in the uniform, and I thought, that's how it was going to be. But the atmosphere was totally chill. It was different. It was just so at home. Nice to see officers out of the uniform and just themselves, just actual real people apart from just officers.
People who sit and eat at our table become family.
I found a sense of humanity inside of the uniform.
The reason that the dinners are important is because you can sit face to face with someone that you feel you have differences from, and then you can learn more about that person and find out that you have more similarities with them than you think.
The young people are able to see that they have the power to be in charge, and they no longer see themselves as just being another young person in the street, but as being a young person who can look around and to say, this is wrong, it needs to change.
I would encourage more families to sit down and have dinner with police officers. Because when you sit down and have dinner with somebody, you know, it takes all that focus of all that negativity that's out there out of it. And then you get to see who each individual is.
I want to know why we haven't done more to end the terrible racist police violence in the city.
What we're demanding in the dinners is that police officers change their tactic, and by coming face to face and making these demands, we are promoting change in the community.
For me to sit in a living room in a family setting and share our common humanity taught me more about diversity than any classroom could.
Dr. King teaches that it's not enough to see the problem and identify the problem. We must step forward and help solve the problem.
I feel like us being a part of the dinner is going to help our community become, you know, better.
The youth has a very negative opinion about the police officers, just because many of the police officers in general haven't been able to connect with the youth.
I think if they hear it from the kids, that the kids want to meet us, I think maybe that would convince people that, hey, you know, that this is a good idea.
It's great to have a program that is uplifting and nonviolent to show that we have a voice and we can use it, and that war can be won with words over weapons.
These dinners are a model for the rest of the country to pick up and use, because we want to be an example of how to develop community and police relations so that it just becomes one thing, community relations.
Understanding each other is a product of listening, communicating, and caring for one another.
Communication is what's going to stop the violence.